Hey guys, it's Alisha. Real quick, before we get into the episode, I just wanted to let you know and let you be aware that we do talk about some heavy topics at points during this episode, such as eating disorders, binge eating, some self-harm, alcohol, and even some drug use. Keep in mind, there are some triggering moments, and if you struggle with that, then please, maybe this isn't the episode for you, but the episode is an amazing episode where we really dive into our guest's life and some of her past experiences, and we're just really honored that she felt comfortable and vulnerable enough to open up and share that with us and you guys. So other than that, I hope you enjoy this episode, and yeah, we love you guys so much.
We have a very, very, very special guest. This is Mimi Bouchard.
Woo!
Happy 2025.
Woo! Put your little hands in right now, virtually. We're gonna make this the best year.
Also manifesting your partner.
I'd give away all the money tomorrow if it meant to be with him. Like
I'm
tell, like,
so
genuinely.
Whenever I'm happy, I don't give a
Happy people just don't kill their husbands.
No, exactly.
The following podcast is a Dear Media production.
Pretty basic.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Pretty Basic. I am your co-host, Alisha Marie.
And I'm your co-host, Remi Cruz.
And I am so excited for this episode. We have a very, very, very special guest. This is Mimi Bouchard, the icon, the queen herself. Like, you inspire me so much. I'm really excited for everyone to hear about your story, your brand, everything about it. Like, activations has seriously been so motivating for me. Like, I'm not even kidding. Almost like daily routine now.
Wow, Alicia.
We'll dive into it.
I'm so happy to hear.
Yes.
For people who don't know you, can you give a quick little shout out?
Yes.
Where you're from, just everything, fun
What
facts
you
about
do.
you.
Yeah, anything you want to throw out there.
Where do I start? Okay, so I'm a Canadian living 4 months a year in London and 8 months a year in the Bahamas. So
Oh my God.
Kind of have a crazy life situation. I'm engaged. I'm getting married in July.
Yes.
Are you getting married too soon?
I am. Well, I was watching all of your vlogs and like I feel like we're on the same
gosh.
wavelength, a lot of stuff. So we'll get into it.
Okay,
but yes,
let's chat a lot
Sorry
about
to
that.
interrupt. Yes, please keep
Also,
going.
when was the last time I did a vlog? Damn. I like deleted.
It was actually 3 months ago, 5 months ago, and 7 months ago.
Okay.
But I'm caught up.
I've been off of social media the past 6 months, so I feel like I've just kind of. Anyway, we could talk about this
No,
later.
I have a lot of questions. I do. I have a lot.
But yeah, so I talk a lot about transforming my life and other people's lives. I'm really into self-help and personal development, and I've radically transformed every single area of my life over the past 8 years. And
Wow.
I feel like I've really found the beautiful two-step strategy. Like I've really honed in on what it takes to transform your life. And I now teach that to a lot of people. I'm also the founder of Activations. It is a motivational audio app, different to meditation, a new take on meditation. And it's meant to help you become your future self.
It can feel so like you're just stuck or you're wanting a change, but you don't know how to like actively put in the real steps. So I want to dive into that, but I know that we do have a discount for you guys.
If you guys go to activations.com/prettybasic, check out the description box. You can get a 2-week free trial. And there's also a huge discount if you guys sign up for the annual membership. So you guys should definitely check it out. It's amazing. We're going to dive into it, but very excited to have you here.
Yeah, I'm so pumped, and I can't wait to share a bit more about the transformations that I've experienced in my life as well. I'm very open about it, more open than I think a lot of people are, in every single area of my life, from my body and my health. And I had an eating disorder. I was a big binger, purger, and just hated my body back then. And all the way to my mindset, my mentality, my self-love and confidence that completely transformed. Finances was a massive one for me. I was working like 4 jobs, trying to make ends meet, trying to make my first entrepreneurial venture a success. And I had like under $10 in my bank account at this time. And I was very, very desperate to make ends meet. And now I, have an incredibly successful company in life, and I can, just live this life.
I love
can
that you
afford
have a
anything
passion for like teaching and sharing all of that, though. A lot of people love gatekeeping in this world. And I feel like it's so rare to find someone who's like, no, I want to not only be vulnerable and share my whole experience, but also like help others in any way I can. Well, okay, so for anyone listening, I feel like you've said so much there that so many people can already relate to regarding whether it's finance or body image. Like if someone's struggling and they're just like, what was your like rock bottom moment that you were like, I'm going to actually put in effort to change? Like what was that moment, or like how do you take that first step? Because obviously the first step's the hardest for anyone, no matter what they're struggling with, like whether it's finances or,
Also building on that, you said 8 years ago is when was kind of like the catalyst for when you wanted to start all this change?
Yeah, 9 years ago.
9 years ago. What was the catalyst exactly that started everything?
Well, I was at my lowest. I was drinking a lot, doing drugs every weekend, hated my body. I had that disorder, this eating disorder, like I mentioned to you. And even, dealt with really dark stuff in my teenage years, like self-harm and stuff. Like I was really just not in a good place. And I hated myself. Like I truly, it's okay. I think a lot of people as well, like go through this, especially in their teenage years. And a lot of people don't get out of it. So I'm very grateful that I found personal development because it changed my life. And this was, again, nine years ago, I started getting out of it. And I found my first personal development book, and I think that I was just so desperate and I so badly wanted to create a great life for myself, but I just wasn't doing anything aligned with that. So I just really was attracted to this work. And at the time, personal development wasn't cool. Like was like when no one was talking about self-help. Like Tony Robbins was lame to a lot. I fucking love him. But everyone thought he was lame. Like I was reading these books with
even therapy. Then it was so like taboo.
Very taboo.
Yeah.
It
even
was
just mental health. Yeah, everything.
It was cringe. It was so cringe.
Pre-girl boss era.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And there are all these books with like old white guys on the cover with their thumbs up, being like, "Here's how to change your life." And I was like, "Okay, like listen, I got nothing else. I'm going to read one of these books." So I got into this rabbit hole of learning about how I can actually be the creator of my life and all these empowering beliefs I was learning. Like I'm 100% responsible for my life. I'm an average of the 5 people I surround myself with most. Rejection is redirection. Like I can have whatever life I desire. And I was this young girl that was in this really, really dark place. And I was just like, you know what? I can change.
Wow.
And I'm not saying that catalyst that evening was like the evening that fully changed me forever.
You woke up a new person.
There's no way. It was just this little like the brightness in my mind for a moment saw this potential.
Hope.
Wow. And then obviously over the next few years, I was really diving into this, but I'd still go out on the weekends and do drugs and get into the bad old habits. And it was this slow transition. It's not like I never like binged and purged again, or it was not like I never like looked at myself and hated myself with so much hatred. It was just this slow evolution over the following years. And then kind of tying in how I created activations. When I was in my early 20s, a few years into this journey, I was doing what I thought I should be doing, what everyone said you should be doing, which is the vision boards, the journaling, the morning routine, that. And the one thing I couldn't stick to was meditation. And listen,
I struggle with it. Yes, but
okay, let's talk about it, because I didn't actually even understand how this was supposed to help me step into my ultimate future self, the person I wanted to be. Like, sure, it was great at relaxing me and calming my mind and helping me, like calm my nervous system. But I wanted something, I craved something that would actually help me like feel alive and motivated and move towards my goals. Like I was in this phase of my life where I just needed energy and I needed to like, feel like I could just move in big ways towards what I wanted in my life.
Would you say that little voice in your head is what motivated you, because it was a slow start? It wasn't like an overnight success of everything. Like for people, even now, it's the new year. People are wanting to like get on a diet or like a routine and stuff. Like usually around day 29 or like day 30 is when you start kind of dipping off a little bit. Like when did you ever feel like you were gonna never be able to come into that person, or do you feel like you always just knew deep in your heart?
It's a great question. I've definitely been on either end, but I will say once I started to really focus on what actually works, I always felt like quite inspired. And even if I'd fall off track, I knew that I was going in the right direction. And I'll tell you when that kind of unlocked for me. At this time, again, early 20s, trying it all, like doing the vision board, doing everything. And
you kind of feel like not a phony, but like,
well, no, I did, because I was
feel you're like, I'm doing everything everyone's telling me to do, but I'm not noticing any progress.
Well, I was advancing in a very small way, but I was like, the big jumps came after I started doing this very specific technique, which is the activations. And I'll tell you how I created it.
Yeah.
So in my early 20s, again, I realized meditation is just, not for this type of goal that I have in my life. If I want to relax my mind, great, I can meditate. But it was one of those things, like I didn't understand why all these professionals were telling me I had to meditate to be successful. But like, that didn't make sense to me. It just calmed me. I needed
a small
something.
factor of it, I'm sure. But not the
I didn't
main driving
understand.
force.
So But I knew the power of visualization, and I was very interested in, the science behind it all, and how you can really rewire your brain to become this new self-image, to become your future self. Like, I knew that. So intuitively around this time, I picked up my phone and I opened the voice memos app on my phone, and I just started recording the original activation, which was a mix of visualization, affirmations. And then I went on YouTube and I found inspiring music that made me feel really alive.
Wow.
And I converted it to MP3 and I put it behind this audio, and I started creating tons of these for myself.
Just for yourself?
Just for me.
Wow.
And I never shared with anybody. And
you had no idea where that would lead.
No,
that was
not at
truly just
all.
for
It was
yourself.
completely for myself. And fast forward a few years, I look back and I had literally, it was a bell curve. It's like I was growing like this at the beginning, and then when I started listening to these activations without my eyes being closed, by the way, I was listening to them in everyday moments. And we can talk about why that's so effective after.
Yeah.
It was this bell curve. It's like my growth literally started going like this, like with the compound effect. Like it was like doubling every month. Like I was so on fire. And I was never perfect any of those days. And even now I tell people to this day, like I'm now a multi-millionaire. I have everything I want. I have a beautiful relationship with my body. I have the person of my dreams that I'm marrying. Like I have this amazing life where I truly feel like I have it all.
No,
But
like
I've never had a perfect day. This is the crazy thing. So we can talk more about the bounce back rate as well, because that's, I think, such an important part of what I teach. It's like, it's not about perfection. It's about just bouncing back as quickly as you can, because perfection's not the goal.
I have a question. Was at one point, were you striving for perfection and learned through
Absolutely.
that?
I strive
learned
for
through that.
perfection.
Yeah.
And I actually was pretty down on myself every single day, actually, when I couldn't be, quote, perfect.
Yeah.
And then I actually started to see real results in my life. And I had to get to that. I had to see success to realize, wait a minute, I can do this without being perfect.
Yeah.
And then I realized that nobody is perfect. And even the most beautiful supermodel that's rich and happy and that, they've never had one perfect day. Like not one person has ever had this perfect day where they've woken up at 5 a.m., never procrastinated, no screen time, ate organic all day, didn't have one negative thought.
Yeah,
we're human.
Yeah, we're
human. And that's okay. So perfection should not be a measure of success.
Yeah.
It's your bounce back rate. It's how quickly you can just get back on track. You know, you can have a cookie. It's a huge unlock because it's so simple. You can have a cookie, or you can scroll on your phone for 5 minutes, and that doesn't matter. It's how quickly when you acknowledge the response time here, when you acknowledge that you're not being the person that you want to be, it's how quickly you get back on track.
The bounce back is how you should measure success.
Exactly.
That's so good. Okay, so I do want to talk about, because you've hinted at it, so if anyone doesn't know, but what I love is there's so many different ways you can listen to these. One of my favorite ones is the legs up. Anytime we travel and we'll be in the hotel bed and we'll just put our legs up on the wall, and it's such a thing.
Lymphatic drainage, baby.
Yes. But I like how it's not just a 45-minute theme that you can listen wherever. I like how it's listen to this when you're going on a 15-minute walk.
I like the getting ready.
Yeah, or getting ready.
The walking is my favorite category, I will say.
Errands,
that's good to know.
It's real. I like how it kind of takes out the pressure. It makes it easier to choose. You
can habit stack it.
Yeah, I have 15 minutes. I'll go on a walk. I can
stack.
Yeah. Oh my God, totally habit stack.
You don't need to carve out any time in your day to use activations, and that also makes it very effective. But you'll notice, I don't know about you, but when I was always trying to get myself to meditate every day, it was on my to-do list every day, and then I'd never check it
Suddenly
off.
I don't have 10 minutes, even though it's only 10 minutes, and I would be on my phone scrolling for 2 hours.
Exactly.
But there's something about, I'm already doing this, I might as well listen to this as extra motivation. And also the first time I heard about you was on the Skinny Confidential.
Oh, yeah.
And I loved hearing you say how you used to be really into the routines and the morning routines, and we've queens of morning routines on YouTube for years. We've always been here's our morning routines.
But it wasn't real.
But it wasn't real.
Are you a routine person though, would you say?
Okay,
still?
this is a whole conversation in itself, because obviously as I've grown over the years, I've realized that it's actually less about the routine and it's more about who you are. So this is something really interesting. Of course, I naturally have a routine, but I'm not this regimented person anymore.
Yes.
And I'm seeing so much more success. Honestly, the past 4 months, even my business has doubled. I'm happier than ever. It's this crazy snowball effect. The more that you just realize the simplicity in this work, and the simplicity is that you just have to have the self-image of your future self. and then everything else falls into place.
Especially there's some people, like, I'm sorry, I love my sleep. I will not be a normally up at 5 a.m. type person. Like I love and desperately need my sleep. My mom's the exact same way. My sister and my dad are more like, oh, we'll get up at the crack of dawn, da da da. And I think what is hard about finding those like super regimented routines is, one, a lot of it is like focused on guys and like their bodies are so different. And like how we have hormones, and there's some weeks where I'm like, I cannot do this.
We have our follicular phase.
There's so many phases.
Yes. You have to give yourself grace. And I think the more lovingly that you act when you transform your life, the better it will come, because it's not about killing yourself to try to fix yourself. It's about truly just embodying who you want to be now. And there is so much science to prove that if you are living in your future self energy, if you are embodying the self image of the person that you want to be in everyday moments, you are transforming very quickly your mind. Your brain is being rewired. Your RAS, the reticular activating system in your brain, is being reprogrammed to start noticing different things, different opportunities, to start, really like, as a confirmation bias, reiterating to you who you are.
No, I forget what title it was, but it was like visualizing your future self. Like, how does she dress? What is her hair like? What music does she listen to? And I think it's so easy in life to picture like, oh, well, one day I'll be like this, or one day I'll have this, one day I'll get this. But instead thinking of, oh, like, well, visualizing like, you know what, if I want to be someone who dresses very put together and like, I don't know, wears heels to lunch dates with my friends, then do it. You know what I mean? Like, just like start living and that's such a bad analogy, but you know what I mean? I'm like trying to think of things.
A really great way to do that and to rewire your brain to start feeling and thinking a different way is by acting as if you are your future self in everyday moments. So this is the really interesting thing about activations. Unlike meditation, you listen to activations with your eyes open. So again, you don't need to carve out time outside of your day to
love a multitasking
moment. To do this. You can listen to it, habit stack it. But the really interesting thing is that when you listen to these types of audios that are deeply moving and inspiring and energy shifting while you are doing the quote mundane everyday task, like doing the dishes, walking the dog, getting ready and doing your makeup in the morning, you're actually taking advantage of something called classical conditioning. You guys have probably heard of the Pavlov's dog theory. Pavlov rings the bell, the dog salivates. You're essentially doing the exact same thing when you're listening to an activation every morning for 15 minutes while you're doing your makeup before work, every day for 10 minutes when you're walking the dog. If you're listening to an activation during those moments, you're actually teaching your body to pair new thoughts and beliefs with everyday action. So you don't even need an activation after a certain point to be living in the energy of your future self.
Is that certain point different for every person too, would you say? Or is there kind of like a formulaic, almost like time frame?
Well, it's a good question. I think it all comes down to how open and receptive you are to just take on this new identity. Because everyone listening here that wants to change something in their life in 2025 needs to realize that it's actually really simple. It's a very, very simple thing to transform, and it comes down. Well, yeah, but also just I want to help people just cut out all of the noise of all personal development that they listen to, and just really bring it down to two very simple steps. And this is something that I've practiced in my own life that I've seen huge results from. It comes down, all the books you read, everything comes down to these two steps. Okay, the first step is clarity. You must get crystal clear on the vision of your future self. Okay, how does she dress? How does she walk? What does she have? But most importantly, how does it feel to be her? Okay, we can get excited and talk about the exact perfect partner or house she has, but at the end of the day, the most important thing to do is to really recognize and understand what her frequency is, how it feels energetically, emotionally to be your future self. Okay, get very clear on that.
And this is a lot, like this goes in hand with like manifestation, right? We're kind of
this is like the science back, like yes, this is manifestation.
Less spirituality, more scientifically.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of have one foot into the pragmatic scientific side and one foot into the spiritual. I'm kind of in the middle.
I think that's great though.
I believe in a lot of different things, but I think this is the most like relatable. I have theories and science to tell you on either side.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's all the same thing in a different language.
For sure.
You've heard me say this maybe on the podcast, but it's like, everyone says that this exists in their own different way. For example, a spiritualist will call it manifestation or the law of attraction. A Christian will call it prayer. An atheist will call it the placebo effect. And a scientist might call it quantum physics. Like everyone has different ways of explaining it, but at the end of the day, who you are creates your reality.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear?
Go ahead. Second one.
There's
Yes.
so much.
Okay,
Go to the second one.
Okay, so step 2 is becoming. Once you are crystal clear on your future self-identity and vision and how it feels to be your future self, you must become them in everyday moments. You got to step in to that version of you before what you manifest comes into your life. And this is a very, very important point because so many people don't realize the importance of this. This is everything. Clarity is like, okay, I got clarity. Becoming is like the one step once you have clarity. And if you become her in everyday moments while you are driving, while you're getting ready, just while you're living your life and you're priming your brain and rewiring your old thoughts to be the new self thoughts, you are literally actively creating your dream future in real time. You are selecting a new lifeline for yourself. And this, I guess I can tell you, is a little bit more on the metaphysical, but it is quantum physics. And it's something else that I also deeply believe in, is that there are quantum physics states that there are unlimited parallel realities happening at any given moment. Okay. So let's just say there is a parallel reality where you're married to Brad Pitt and I'm wearing a yellow top. There is literally a parallel reality.
Love that one.
that is unlimited. And there are unlimited.
I've seen a lot of that theory on TikTok, and like visually it helps when they like show the slices and like all the different things.
It's like
I haven't even seen that.
Like
Yeah.
the Marvel
I'll send them to you.
multiverse.
Yeah. I very much see it as like the multiverse situation. Because at first I was like, what is this? And the more I looked into it, I was like, oh, that actually like does make sense.
Yes, and I'll tell you the crazy thing is that there are unlimited different parallel realities. I actually call them lifelines.
Okay.
And because I do a lot of research on this one quantum physicist, his name is Vadim Zeland. He wrote Reality Transurfing. It's this very big, complicated book that was translated from Russian, and I'm just obsessed with his work. And he calls them lifelines, so I'm now calling them lifelines. Okay. And essentially, you have unlimited different lifelines that you can tune into at any given moment. How do you tune into them? With your energy. Science has actually measured, we all have biofields around our body of energy. It's measurable, biofields. And what you embody and you give off, you actually become a magnet to.
Yes.
So just in the car here, to be totally honest with you, I was kind of having an off day today. I
Oh
was
my
like,
God. Wait, we were saying she said she was
here.
Yeah.
I was just not feeling like my best self. Earlier today, I was supposed to film something and I just like kept speaking over my words and I was just fumbling and not being my best self.
Yeah.
And on the car ride over, I had a long time because we were stuck in traffic, as you guys know. I just started listening to a few activations. I actually was listening to the same one like on repeat because I get weird and like obsessed with one and I just listen to one for like 3 weeks and
That's
I
me
move on
with
to
the
the next
song.
one.
Yeah, I get it.
Really, yeah, that's kind of, everyone uses it differently.
Well, then you hear different things each time. Like you'll like maybe hear one thing the first time and then
Yeah,
later you're
it's
like,
what you
whoa.
need to hear in that moment,
Yeah.
I'm sure too.
And it's like the music that we used in this one activation. I think it's called Embody Magnetic Manifestation Energy. It's like one of the anytime ones. We're using this new composer and our audio engineers have been working on just making these epic like movie soundtracks. So anyway, I was listening to that one on repeat and I just decided to practice what I preach and to select a new lifeline for me to step into on the car ride because I want to be my best self on today's podcast and I wanted to feel good and have a great conversation. So I selected this new lifeline for myself and I really visualized it. And I was like, okay, this is going to be an amazing rest of my day. I have dinner with friends after this. I'm going to feel good. I'm going to be talkative. I'm going to really, share the information like from my soul.
Yeah.
And I decided that the moment that I like opened the car door, like I would step into this new lifeline.
I like having the,
it's like a trigger. Yeah.
I like having like walking through the door, like something like that.
Yeah.
I love that. I'll often do that when I'm having a bad day. I keep saying, well, tomorrow is going to be better. Tomorrow is going to be better. But I like the idea of immediately instead of being like, oh, I
bounce back right, baby.
Exactly. No, I
bounce back.
I need to start doing that. I do have a question though. It's saying it out loud, 2 simple steps. And I think the first step is hard enough, but the second step, I'm like, I can imagine people listening. People listening be like, saying it sounds so much easier than I feel like it really is. Like, how would you what are the best steps for someone to become?
Absolutely. It's very important to know exactly what that future self frequency feels like. And that's part of the clarity step 1. And we can do a mini exercise right now if you want.
Well, I was thinking, I was like, the clarity part, like, let's say I had a dream of being a huge pop star, but in reality, even though I want that so bad, that's not like who I'm like
Destined to be,
or like not meant to be, but like maybe that's me having clouded clarity versus like true clarity. So I'm sure like it's hard to figure out. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say?
I believe that your deep, deep, deep desires are what is meant for you. Ooh. It is a lifeline that exists that is calling you.
Got it.
But I do want to touch on that. But to answer your original question of how to become, it's you have to get clear first. And that's a very, very important step because a lot of people just try to become and then they get confused. But once you have crystal clarity, it's actually very simple. And I want to make sure that this work that I teach stays very simple because it actually does not need to be hard. So how to become in everyday moments, make it a game. Like just embody it. And the way to embody it is to simply act as if you are already your future self. You already know what she looks like, feels like, how she acts. Step into her energy, even right now, while you're listening to this podcast.
I'm doing it as we speak. Yeah, I did too. My body keeps getting
Both
chills.
of you, just as we're talking, like, you just be in the energy of the person you want to be. And it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't need to be hard. I was actually telling myself this in the car. I was really resisting at first being, feeling good after a rough day. And I was like, Mimi, it's not hard. Like, snap out of it. And then just that thought alone of it's actually not hard got me out of it. And I immediately felt this wave of my future self energy and I held on to that and I'm still in it. So it doesn't need to be hard. And the reason that we created activations is because they are a type of audio that you can listen to while you're doing anything throughout your day that puts you in that future self frequency, that reminds you of who you want to be. And you guys both know the power of music, obviously. Like when you're listening or when you're watching a movie, imagine a movie without any background music. Like music instructs you how to feel, especially movie type of moment that are created by certain composers that create these scores for films that specifically, I met with one of our composers the other day and he was working on this new movie and he told me he had to watch the scene first and then the producers were like, we want the audience to feel this way, create a track for that. So he'll customize the track for that. So with the music that we use of his, it's all like transformation energy, stepping into your, no, it's not just any music. It's very specific. And it's like stepping into who you want to be energy. And then our audio engineers layer in these frequencies into the activations as well. And it's like on every level, these just transform you. And then obviously we have the visualizations, the affirmations, every category in the app has like a kind of a different style. And we have so many, like we have 700 plus activations on the app. So like all of them are slightly different to keep it fresh. But that is why I also created activations. And that's why back in the day, I transformed my life so much by listening to these, because it was this beautiful mix of music, frequency, and vocals that just put me into the state of reminding me of who I wanted to be. And the whole fun part is like acting as if in everyday moments. Like when you're in line at the grocery store, just be your future self.
Yeah.
It's so fun. It's like you're the main character in your own movie. You know what I mean?
Well, also you always hear how like smart our brains are and how we don't even tap into the full use of it. And I feel like this is one of those examples of, like obviously there's life happens and like you can have hard days, but like you are able to push yourself to see a different perspective.
And give yourself grace. My future self can still have a day where she's in her late luteal phase and wants to eat chocolate. And it's like your future self is not this like perfect, like human that never has anything wrong happen to her. She just takes responsibility for her life. And she understands that how she reacts to situations is influencing the result. Like I'm sitting here saying that I genuinely feel like I have it all right now in my life, but that doesn't mean bad things don't happen to me.
Well, that's what I feel like is so different from your approach with everything to a lot of other self-help stuff I've read or listened to, because again, going back to like imposter syndrome, sometimes you're like, I feel like I'm faking it. I don't feel like I'm actually this, but I think it's because again, a routine every day, that's 2 hours and get my workout and I eat this and I do, like you're only setting yourself up for failure in some point. But I love how you're addressing that, like, no, we are actually human and you're not going to have a something day.
And you can reach success without perfection.
Yes, and
like,
that's what
the
I
best
love.
part.
Yeah.
You can do it without being perfect. It's actually, it's not something you should even think of. I don't think about perfection anymore. And this is coming from
Someone who used to,
recovering perfectionist. And of course those tendencies still come in once in a while, but I just think that if we go through things in this like very expansive feminine way, and especially as women, I think we are so good at manifesting because we feel deeply.
Yeah.
And when you feel deeply and you know how to just switch those emotions and feelings and just like adjust like a dial how you want to feel, that is manifestation.
Intuition too.
Yeah.
I have a
It's
question.
deep.
Yes, I have a question. I think something a lot of people can struggle with is trying not to care what people think. Would you, when you tap into your future self, is like, I don't want to say fake it till you make it. Like, how do you actually,
Is it a little bit of fake it till you make it though?
Absolutely it is. But I will say when it comes to like not seeming cringe around people, like I honestly, I just came to this conclusion that it's like, I would rather be cringe or people look at me in a certain way and live the life of my dreams than like never even have the chance.
okay, I love that.
So that's my theory on that. I really don't care. And I'm at a place where I'm just so comfortable with myself too, that when you gain this level of like self-confidence just naturally inside, you don't even think about it anymore.
Well,
like,
no, I love that. Because
Yeah.
again, like I'll come across TikToks and it can feel very like, okay, cool, but how? Or like, okay, cool, but I still am worrying what people think. Like, okay, but I like how it's like, don't even care. Don't even have that be your goal because it'll just come naturally when you're focusing on yourself. It's kind of like how they always say with dating. They're like, just like stop thinking about him and then like,
It'll come.
it'll come.
I have a question for specifics. You mentioned something like being in line for the grocery store. How would Mimi 9 years ago have been in the grocery store versus now? Like, just to give people like an exact example of how to change the thought process, maybe.
Okay, let me get into this energy here. So Mimi 9 years ago at the grocery store would probably be looking at her reflection, seeing if she looked fat. She would be thinking about, oh my God, like, you know, why isn't this guy texting me back? Or like I'd be hunching over a bit. I wouldn't look at the person at the cash. I know I'm like, the more my posture is like this, the more I'm my future self. No, I'm kidding. I would probably not even look at the cashier in the eye and just have that quick exchange.
I relate to all of this, so this is perfect.
And I would be really worried when I put my card in to make sure that I'd have enough money on there. Like I remember the times where it would be declined, full transparency. And, you know, I would just feel anxiety and I wouldn't be in the moment. I'd be trying to numb, maybe scrolling on social media while I'm in line, just trying to disassociate.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Mimi now in line, I look around and I'm just happy to be alive and I feel good and I feel happy and I smile at people and my heart feels full and I feel so grateful and I just feel more alive. And I have this theory that the more that you do things that make you feel alive, the slower time passes and the happier your life will be. And then on the opposite end, you have things that make you feel numb, like excessive social media use, like drinking, doing drugs, overeating, binging, doing anything that disassociates you, binging TV shows, like anything that makes you numb. Those things make time go by so quickly. You're wasting your life. Those things make you feel like a shell of yourself. And then not even just when you're doing it, but for hours after you're feeling numb.
Yeah.
But the things that make you feel alive, like my activations, they all like the prerequisite with all my audio engineers. I'm like, it has to make you feel alive.
Yeah.
It needs to make you feel so excited about life. Having a beautiful, deep conversation with people, that makes you feel alive. After you've done a workout and you're sitting outside and you're breathing the fresh air and you're just like enjoying watching the world go by, that's feeling alive. You know that feeling when you're in the back of the car and the window's open and you're listening to your favorite song and you just feel like you're in a movie?
In the music
That's
video,
like the
I love those
energy
moments.
of like what I wanted to encapsulate and put into activations. It's like, you are the main character.
And
You
we
can
all
create this.
are. It's
You
your
all
life.
are.
Like that's
You
what's
all
cool
are.
too.
There's nothing that one person has that makes them special. Like there's absolutely nothing that's holding you back from living this life of your dreams. Like no one is special. And you just have to realize that it doesn't have to be this big, complicated, difficult journey that you want to get on. Like you just have to simplify it down and become her and feel the energy of her and just realize that your self-image creates your life. And don't try to put so much manual effort into change because it will make it very difficult. And what I mean by that is think about an onion, okay? The core of the onion is your self-image, your identity. And every layer on top of that is the smaller stuff in life, like your habits, your thoughts. Let's just say that you're trying to change a habit and you're trying to do it the manual way by just changing the habit and nothing's working and you have to really, really rely on motivation or discipline to change that habit. the easiest thing to do, instead of doing that and guilting yourself and shaming yourself whenever you fall off track, is just by simply adjusting the self-image and the identity first, and then all the other layers will change. Yeah. So for example, if you want to start running, like I'll give a random example, running, okay? Like if you want to start running and you wake up in the morning and you're like, okay, I need to get up, I need to start running. I told myself I'd do it every day this week. It'd be very difficult to do that if you did not first change your self-image to align with a runner. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, if you are already identifying as a runner, when you wake up in the morning, you'll feel weird if you don't go on a run. It's like this pull. So it actually is like an effortless way to transform when you change your self-image first, when you align yourself with your future self and you start rewiring your mind from the inside out. It's this effortless transformation because it's like it takes way less effort. You can do it either way. You can go the hard way, the manual way. And of course, if you do it that way, you can still find success. It's just harder. I like the shortcut.
Yeah. Well, even, I mean, we have a lot of listeners too who, they want to start doing social media or TikTok or be an influencer. And I feel like that's a great analogy of, instead of I'm going to try to film a video and be a content creator, instead to have that switch of like, no, I am a content creator. And then instantly you're like, oh, well, if I'm a content creator, I would be filming this. I would be like working on this. Or if I'm a creative, I would be actively looking for inspiration, or I would be as a writer, like
you'd be confident putting your camera up in the middle of somewhere busy to take a video. Of course. It's all about your identity.
I want to dive into, well, first of all, obviously we said this in the very beginning, but if you want the 2-week trial, link in the description box. Okay.
Activations.com/prettybasic.
I feel like when we first said it, people were like, yeah, sure. But now they're like, oh wait, what was it again?
Can I just say though, like we also have a 14-day free trial, and we very specifically wanted to give an extended free trial to everyone because I so deeply believe in this work, and I believe that you can actually see huge changes in your life in 14 days. So we want people to actually experience the change before committing. And then just one step above that, if you do, forget to cancel, we do a full money back guarantee. Like we were one of those companies that like, we don't need to sell to you. You just have to go try it and you'll understand.
Good enough, of course.
But that alone shows confidence, because otherwise, like there's brands that are like, oh, I don't know. You're not trying to persuade someone. You're like, our work speaks for itself, which is.
We've also grown we've launched 3 years ago. We've grown like from word of mouth alone. Essentially, we've just started investing in some paid marketing. We have gained tens and tens and tens and tens of thousands of people from word of mouth.
So cool seeing your baby just like, and you
it's
like
weird,
you
from your
voice memo to
that, like that's so amazing.
It's actually crazy because in my mind I'm like, how did this happen? Like this shouldn't have happened this quickly. And then I'm like, oh, but my energy was at this place where like I was just like had a certain income and I had a certain revenue with my business. Like my energy was there before it ever happened. And I look back on my entire life, not just finances. I look at my relationships. I look at myself and my relationship with myself, my entire life, where I live, what I do every day. And I think this shouldn't have happened so quickly, so almost effortlessly. And it was because I was a product of this work, and I could even get like emotional thinking about it. Like I was in a completely different place. Like, and it was just, even 6, 7, 8 years ago, like I was in a completely different place. And I'm so proud of myself for just committing, because it happened very quickly. And for everyone listening too, like I wish I could shake my younger self and be like, don't worry, just keep doing what you're doing, because it happens so quickly. It doesn't have to take a decade. Wow. It can happen so quickly. And it's like my idea of how the world works, how the universe works, just changed after seeing all of this happen so fast. And then naturally, people just started talking about my business more and more. And then I started elevating my energy. Like at the beginning, I was like, okay, I'm changing my energy. I am going to only feel aligned with, $5,000 a month. Okay, hit that. Then it was 10,000. My set point, my identity has changed so much that I want to talk openly about finances, because when I was younger, I never saw girls talk about that, And I just feel so passionate about sharing this, because when you create a new set point for yourself, when you enter a new lifeline, you can have this standard for yourself. Everyone listening, there is a lifeline out there where you are making so much money and you are so happy and you have it all and you can select it. And if you just have a little bit of faith and a little bit of patience, like you can really get there.
Oh my God, I have so many things. One, I love how it's not just like, oh, I want to manifest $1 million. Cause I feel like the stereotypical way we see manifestation is people like have these huge goals and then you don't hit them. But I like how you said you worked your way up. First, it started with like $50, then it was $100, then it was $1,000. And I think that's, again, a more realistic approach to this. Going back to after you've had the clarity and you're becoming like, let's focus on finances. I know like there's a lot of people who are struggling with finances. What were other things you had mentioned? Like you're not going to be watching endless TV. Like, did you quit having like streaming services? Like
no.
Were there any?
I still do watch TV. Like, listen, again, not perfect. I did delete social media about 6 months ago, and that was simply because I realized that it made me feel numb and I just wanted to feel more alive. I also realized that I wanted to be able to like grow my business without relying on it. And I didn't think that I don't even have like loads of followers. Anyways, I realized that it wasn't making a big difference to my business when I would post. So is this a 10X opportunity for me or a 2X opportunity for me? A book that really helped me this year with my business was, it's called 10X is easier than 2X. And essentially you just focus on 10X opportunities and you drop everything that's a 2X opportunity. Okay. For me, social media was 2X. For me personally, for my own business. I
like that too, though, because it's like it is different for everyone.
It is different for everyone.
But you had mentioned at one point you had 4 jobs. Like,
yes, I was babysitting, I was dog walking, I was interning at a fashion agency, I was working at a juice bar. I always worked at juice bars so I could like eat all the expensive organic food.
Smart, honestly.
That's very smart.
But can you take us through that? Like,
yes,
any more tangible things for people listening who maybe have 4 jobs right now to like get out of that?
Well, first of all, romanticize the hustle is one of the things that I'm really proud that I did, because obviously there were moments where I was so stressed. Like I remember I missed the bus and I was going to be late for my juice bar job, and my sister at the time was living in Australia, and this is the time when I literally had $8 in my bank account, and I called her crying and I'm like, I'm so fucking broke. I need a $10 Uber to get to work. Can you help me? And so she ordered me an Uber from Australia, like an Uber.
I didn't know you could even do that in a different country.
Yeah,
I know.
can.
Well, listen, we figured it out. When there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I definitely remember that time in my life, and I was working 4 jobs because I didn't want to just commit to one full-time job. Like I really felt like what I was doing, I had an online magazine at the time. This was my first business. I really wanted to make that work. And so I just kind of had all these odd jobs that I was, and I also didn't get the big full-time job as well. I just remembered. So I just had to kind of make things work. And yeah, I remember it being really freaking hard, but I really also remember romanticizing that hustle, because I just had developed this core belief in myself that I was going to create the life of my dreams. I had fully taken on the belief that I am 100% responsible for my life. So I was like, okay, if I'm 100% responsible for my life, guess what? I'm going to create this life where I'm in a happy relationship, where I love my body, where I have this great life, where I am, happy every day and in love with life every day. And I decided that, and I knew it was a matter of time if I was the creator of my life. So I just really gave faith to this belief, and it obviously worked. But of course, there were times where I was low, where I was crying, where I was desperate. Of course, there were times like that. But I really think that the key was to romanticize that part of my life being like a part of my story.
And did that make you work better and then like make more money to then not have to work 4 jobs, or like where did that come in?
No, I remember being like working and like writing on the receipt paper ideas I had for my businesses. Like I was actually just kind of doing it to, make the money. I wasn't like going above and beyond, honestly, at those jobs. But it kind of just fell into itself. Like I started gaining an audience online, and then I relied on brand partnerships for a really long time. And then I had tried so many other businesses too in my 20s that had failed epically. And
starting your own businesses?
Yeah, well, being involved, like when I was 21, I sold a TV show to E! Actually, and I was like an exec producer and co-creator of this show. And then last minute, one of the cast members pulled out, and then we lost it. And I literally my whole life was about to change.
Yeah.
And then that failed epically. And I was manifesting at the time. I was like really trying to make that work. And I realized, okay, maybe the what isn't up to me and the when isn't up to me, but I know that I'm going to achieve those feelings that, being very wealthy and happy give me and the feelings of
really like
abundance.
that.
So I just knew the next day that happened, I was like, all right, let's get
Bounce
back on the bandwagon. And then I co-founded this like education company with these investors I met, and then that failed epically for many reasons. And I've been on the brink many times, and then
well, you're just a natural born entrepreneur at heart.
Yes,
That's very clear.
And I was hustling, like,
Timeline
doing
wise,
a lot.
sounds like it. From the voice memos to where you are now, specifically with activations, like how did that kind of play out?
Yeah. So this was after the online education company flopped. I was like, okay, I am, really depending on brand deals to make ends meet. Like some months I'd make $5,000, other months I'd make $1,000. Like I still wasn't, like I only had 100K-ish followers, and it was also, very inconsistent still, as I'm sure.
What year about was this?
2019.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like it was recent, or 2018 as well. So yeah, I was definitely, I didn't like the inconsistency that being an influencer brought. I also never thought that was the end goal for me. I wanted my own thing. And,
And that goes back to that clarity.
Yeah,
of,
exactly.
Knowing what you see for yourself. Yeah.
I wanted my own thing, and I wanted consistency. I really craved consistency because it felt like up to that point in my life, I never had any consistency. I always felt insecurity with money. Growing up, my parents were always struggling a lot with finances. They're both artists, and my core memories about money growing up was lack and parents remortgaging the house, bankruptcies, a lot of things happening.
Feeling stuck.
Yeah, feeling really unsafe financially. And I think that's why as well, the money thing was so big for me. It's honestly just the wildest transformation, because I started in a place where that was so important to me. So then basically I decided I wanted consistency. So I thought, and I was learning a lot about business at that time. I was very interested. I just had this curiosity about things from business to health. I was always a curious person. So I decided to create the original subscription platform that was activations. And I was really into health and wellness. Still am into health and wellness, but I posted recipe videos and workouts. So I'm Pilates certified. And then,
oh, wow.
Yeah, random.
We should have been doing a Pilates
Honestly,
this whole time.
yeah, the whole time. But that again, was more because of interest. I never really thought I would teach it, but I had these videos on this subscription platform, and then I thought, you know what, I'm going to add some extra value.
Sorry.
What?
Would you ever do an event that's
I was
Pilates,
thinking, doing
but
Pilates,
while
but
the
I was
activations
thinking
are
that.
playing?
So we have workout activations on the app, by the way, with epic
I'm
DJ
I just
music.
pictured this beautiful
Sure, we
studio.
can. I
and then
literally
was
haven't taught it in so long, but yeah, let's go.
Let's do it.
I'm down.
Once certified, always
It
certified.
could just be us.
Sure.
We can do it here. I'm a beautiful studio here.
I love it. But yeah, I thought to myself, okay, how do I make this a little bit different, a little unique? And I was listening to one of my activations at the time, and I thought, okay, what if I just release one of these that I create? So I just by myself in GarageBand in my tiny apartment.
Stop.
I have a podcast, so I have my podcast microphone. I did that, and I found some royalty-free music, and it was so bad, but it was the first version, but people loved it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Obviously those are not around anymore.
No,
we have,
our first videos, trust me, we get it.
Oh my gosh. My audio engineers now, they are epic. I'm so grateful to work with such talented people, because it's so much more than me now. It's this whole team of people, and they are instructed to create audios that make people feel alive, like their future selves. So that is my dream, because
That's so
back in the
cool.
day, I was imagine if I could have that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I decided to add some of these activations to that subscription platform, and really thinking not much of it. I put them right at the bottom. And then people started going nuts. And I, again, don't have this massive audience. I don't have millions of followers. But these people were wait a minute, what is this? I want more of this. And I saw the demand for it. And very quickly, the people signing up for these activations, it was within 3 months, it had blown up. And then I was okay, I'm going to create an actual app just for these activations.
Wow.
And then from then on, it just was skyrocketed.
I think you already know this. You're really, really good at that bounce back thing you're talking about, because so many people would be no, I love this project so much, I'm going to make it work. But for you to even with the magazine to be you know what?
Yeah, pivot.
not working.
Pivot.
Gotta pivot.
I love the word pivot. It's you know what? Oh, they're really enjoying this. Let's dive into this more, and not being so married to no, my vision for my one baby is my one project, or this movie or the show that didn't get greenlit or whatever. I feel that's such a strength in life, even of just learning to pivot, or like, oh, that era is closing, there's a new era coming? Or
I think that comes with like letting go of fear. Fear that I
love the tangible things for people listening of like, okay, but what else can I do? I love where you're going.
Just trust that if you are embodying this feeling every day of your life, like you're going to get there. And if something starts feeling a little off, then you can pivot, you can grow. And I think when it comes to that whole idea of pivoting as well, it's like, you just have to start seeing potential in everything you do. What has the most potential? And I saw this, and I'm telling you, before I launched this app, before I even like honestly experienced it where it is today, like I knew it was going to get there. I like predict a lot of these things, and it's because there's a formula to it. It's crazy how the universe just works in this way, and a lot of people think of it in a different way. A lot of people think how to get what you want is just more manual. It's like when I was describing earlier, it's just like you have to work incredibly hard and be very tough on yourself.
Long enough or hard enough.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like you can actually just go the shortcut way, and you can grow very fast when you do that.
Was there any difference, like some of your past projects to this one, of what you felt as far as like, no, this one's really going to...
No, I felt that about all of them.
See, I think that's so important.
Yeah, no, I actually am being completely honest with that online magazine, with the TV show, with the education company. Like I was like, I'm going to become a billionaire.
Yeah. But what's cool is like, okay, let's say, you know.
And there's nothing wrong with having like positive thoughts and manifesting that. Absolutely.
Well, listen, it's not like I woke up every morning believing in myself more than anything. Like I had to train myself to believe in myself, because Mimi back in the day, she was a victim. She thought the world was against her. She didn't believe in herself at all. So I'm here, sitting here right now telling you that you can teach yourself to believe in yourself so deeply.
It's also crazy because like, just like you, even when you walked in, I'm like, I would believe you've been this way your whole life. Like that, I'm being so on it. Like it's just the way you present yourself. Like even hearing you speak it so eloquently.
You're touching my biofield.
You're like my energy. So it's just crazy because I'm like, oh my God, I'm sure if I met Mimi, then I wouldn't even believe you were like the same person.
Wow. Well, gosh, you should see photos of her back then.
You're like, she's
smoking
there.
a pack of cigarettes, drinking, doing cocaine. Like, oh my God, I was nuts. I was crazy. And I also started really young because I have an older sister who influenced me quite a bit. We were both kind of bad kids. And when I was like 12 years old, I was like drinking, doing drugs, going out. Like I was a naughty kid. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It actually really was bad. Like, really, really, really bad. I don't know where I'd be if I didn't find this work. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Obviously, I'm so happy about you living your dream life and having so many amazing things going for you. I was watching your vlog where you had the announcement of activations, like that event, and I saw that your partner was with you, your fiance was with you, and it was just so sweet because I could tell how genuinely like supportive he was.
I love him.
It was so cute when you were talking to some members of activations, and they were like all so giddy and excited, and I could tell he was like so excited for you, and like I'm getting like chills talking about it because it reminded me a lot of my partner too, and just how supportive they are. Obviously a big part of just like manifesting this dream life for you is, I'm sure, also manifesting your partner.
Oh my God, he's everything. I'd give away all the money tomorrow if it meant to be with him. Like I love him so much.
I could tell like
so
genuinely like it was so sweet. I could just tell the energy and like the support. I feel like a lot of people listening are maybe wanting to manifest something very similar
so
for them.
I stop
so like
saying I'm so single?
No, yeah, you have to stop.
Okay, that's my problem.
You need to get into this magnet. Well, you are in a magnetic energy. Like I feel like you honestly, you also need to believe like he's right around the corner and just keep walking around with faith. Okay, this is actually really, I'm going to get to your question, but I just want to say, like,
free.
When people are like, how can I live like I'm this wealthy, happy person when I don't have the money and I don't have the, like, how do you do it? So it's like with the way that I like to describe it, think about it like you win the lottery and you know that $1 million is coming into your account. They say, okay, you won. Here are the numbers that align with your scratch card. Okay, what are your bank details? Great. It'll take 7 to 14 working days to hit your account. But congratulations, you won the lottery. Okay, imagine that. What is your energy for 7 to 14 days?
Wow.
It is already yours.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's already yours, but it hasn't actually landed. That is the energy.
That's what I've been trying to like ask this whole time of like, okay, but like what's like like what can people do now who like aren't, you know, there's
it's already yours.
Yeah.
It's coming.
It's coming.
It's on its way.
It's coming.
It is in transit towards you.
He's coming.
He's coming.
Feel that. No, honestly, what does it feel like to know that he's coming?
Like more peaceful. I feel like lately I've been in such a reactive mindset to things. And I was just telling my therapist literally yesterday morning, I was like, I want to be less reactive and just more in a state of like peace. Like I don't want someone to come in and affect my mood as much, or I don't want, like, I listened to like the rejection one, activation, and I loved how it was like, you're in control.
The rejection is redirection.
Yes. I loved how it was like, your emotions are like, you can control your emotions. Like you can't let other people affect you so much. And I was like, wow, that was really
You're
good.
in control. Think about it like you're in this bubble and nothing can come in that you don't want to come in.
Yeah.
There were a few things that I wanted to say that
Sorry, we're throwing so much
we're
at
like
you.
all over the place. When it comes to relationships, I'll tell you a crazy story. When I was like recording my own activations back in the day, on October 12th, 2017, I recorded an activation describing Ben, my fiance.
Stop. I keep getting chills.
I met him on October 13th, 2017, the following day.
No.
Yeah. And I've been with him for 7.5 years and we're getting married in July. He's my first boyfriend.
My fiance is my first boyfriend too.
Oh my gosh,
Wait,
love that.
That's so great though.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, okay, get into the energy of how it feels to be with this person, how they make you feel. Because obviously you can think, oh, like, you know, in my activation I recorded, I still have it on my phone. I was like, he's 6'4" with brown eyes and or like in brown hair. And I literally described physically. Okay, this is the thing. I don't actually believe that like you can manifest that specifically because I think it's more about the feeling and then you're going to receive whatever that feeling is aligned with.
Yeah.
But funny enough, I did actually get the 6'4" brown hair, whatever. So, but I did say he makes me feel like we have movie moments every day. Like he makes me feel like he's charming and he's he's handsome, but he also is just like, I'm the only one for him. And I know this guy would never cheat. Like
truly from the video, I could feel that, like the genuine connection between you guys.
Golden retriever energy. He's the best. But so you will find him. You step into the energy of how it feels to have him. You believe you are good enough for him and you open yourself up to it and just romanticize this time in your life, because guess what? When he walks through the door one day and you can never relive that moment of like him walking towards you for the first time. Like I still want to relive that moment. And it's like, you're in the best times. Like a lot of people would say that when you're just starting to date, like this is the best time of your life. You can flirt, you have those butterflies. Like, so just live in it and just trust that everything is happening exactly as it should.
Oh, I love that. I really seriously, like this whole time was like, I hope people can like feel just like that motivation. Cause I'm sure there's a lot of people, and I'm sure you get this, cause now that you're on the other side and you've been successful with everything, I'm sure people like try to tear down your success being like, well, you have, that's easy for you to say, where you're like, no,
I don't even hear those people. That's
Thank
the thing.
God.
No, I'm like, I know that I did not come from this. And I know that everything I've created is because of me, that I have so much confidence in it that anyone saying,
why wouldn't you?
Like, okay, one of my cousins is a famous tennis player. Okay, my dad's brother's kid, and she's been successful in her own right. I've had people say, "Oh, you know, she just gives you credit card." I'm like, she's never given me a penny. Like my cousin, who would think that a cousin is giving? You know what I mean? Like people try to find any crazy reason,
or they'll make any narrative that you're like, where'd you even come up with this from?
But guess what? It's because those people really just have so much like self-doubt that they can't even comprehend a reality
where someone went out and did it.
Wow. So it's very sad actually. And I feel I really feel sorry for them. And I just send them love. I'm at this point in my life where it's like, if anyone wants to talk badly about me, I just send them so much love. I know that people that speak badly about others, it's because they're not happy. And I've been there. When I wasn't happy, I would talk badly about others. I'd gossip. I'd say, oh, look how, like I'd be watching the Victoria's Secret fashion show, be like, her walk could have been better. Like, you know that meme?
No, it's so true. Like whenever, the only times I've ever been like nitpicky about other people or notice other things or like look at their body is when I was so insecure about mine.
Exactly.
And it's like whenever I'm happy, I don't give a fuck like about anything.
Happy people just don't kill their husbands.
No, exactly.
Literally. Wow.
It's so true.
Oh, I love this so much.
So true.
I also you are obviously like, you have such an entrepreneurial spirit. I can't even imagine how many people you employ like as a boss. It's crazy. But I was watching your vlog where you had the billboards around LA, and I was dying laughing because you were talking. I really appreciated your vulnerability and like the honesty, because she had 3 billboards around LA. She's looking at them and she's like, it's really hard to, well, first of all, celebrate those successes when like so many good things are happening. And I really resonated with that. But also I was dying because she's also like, well, I've been fighting with my fiance all morning and like I'm already in a mood. And I was like it's, but I appreciate it being so real and honest, because everybody goes through that in relationships. You're fighting, like fights happen, it's normal. But I also really related to the fact of like, or the idea that so many big things are happening. I'm sure that was taking an emotional toll on you, fighting with your fiance. And then also it's sometimes hard to celebrate the big wins when there's just like so many things going on. So I wanted to know, that was I think 7 months ago vlog, which I need more vlogs.
Yeah,
but
gosh, I should probably, I have like 5 up. Oh my gosh,
they were coming. I loved all of them.
I will come back at some point.
And Ollie's so cute.
Olive,
so sorry.
Our little Cocker Spaniel.
So
She's
cute.
such a little cutie.
But do you, like 7 months ago compared to now, do you feel differently about that? Have you anything changed at all?
I can't even tell you. Like the past 6 months, especially since I've been off of social media, I've evolved into many lifelines higher. Like I can't even tell you. It's been crazy. So yes, I feel completely different. I feel the best I ever have, honestly, in this moment, in this time of my life. Everything, the better I feel, the more things fall into place. And the more alive I feel. And I keep saying that, but I really just want people to understand when I say that, like, that is the purpose of being alive for me. It's to feel alive. I don't want to waste my life being distracted. Like, we only have so much time left on this planet. Like, I really want to be my best self. So yes, I feel better than ever. And I don't even remember what that fight was with him. But
that's how it should be.
I don't even remember. But I think it's funny because there are a lot of great things that happen when you create success, but then there are a lot of difficult dynamics that can also happen. Like I don't have many friends that I can call up and like share amazing news with all the time. Like there are very few people in my life. And then also dynamics change, it is sometimes more difficult being, the woman in the relationship that my business has gone crazy and, then that means the dynamic can change. And I'm really trying to stay in my feminine energy as well with the dynamic of that financial situation. So I think maybe it was something about that. And I've just had to learn that what is the most important thing in my life? What is it? It is the people that I love and health. And at the end of the day, yes, money is such a beautiful thing. And I will always say that abundance is so important to me. It gives you the freedom. I was born to be abundant in this planet. Like I know that I was. But I would, again, like I mentioned earlier, drop everything for the people that I love. And I think I've seen a lot of people, especially in LA, actually, some people that I know here that, can sometimes get carried away with fame and money, and they've just kind of changed. And I don't ever want to be that person. I've realized that, of course, like part of what I'm doing with my work right now means that I will be a little bit in the public eye. But in a perfect world, I'd rather be anonymous and wealthy. Like there's the best situation to be in is anonymous and wealthy, and the worst situation to be in is poor and famous. So I obviously, I've learned what is important in my life. And for me personally, I want to keep, I guess, a certain level. Like I would never want to be as famous as, say, the Kardashians or whatever. Just for my own, self.
Peace, protection, peace,
I love walking down the road and just smiling at strangers and people not treating me differently because they know, who I am or what I have. And
I think that's really cool though too, because right now, obviously there's a huge wave of a lot of people wanting to be like influencers and stuff, but a lot of people also don't want to be in front of the camera, but you can still have great success in the things that you do.
Yes.
Where right now I feel like it's very easy to be like, oh, quit your job and become an influencer. Like it's that's one of the ways you can go in life. But I do feel like there's a lot of people who are like, no, I don't want to be in front of a camera, but I still want to have financial freedom. I still want to have XYZ. So I think that's what.
Focus on what will help you get to where you want to be. Right now, I am happy. Like I like being in the public eye with the people that follow my work because that's like the right vibe of people. I'll have people come up to me and be like, your app changed my life. Like this happened. Tell me these crazy stories. And I love that. And I'll always want that. But it's not a big thing for me right now to like be online a lot and be on social media a lot. People now know that like once every 3-4 months, I'll post an update on Instagram and then like F off for a bit longer. But I am going to revive the podcast as well. And I do want to have some sort of like interaction, but really my creative focus is going into the activations that I'm creating. I am meeting up with these incredible composers, musicians, audio engineers, and I'm just doing so much research into this work and talking to a lot of neuroscientists and learning from people how to make these the most effective audios to help you become your future self. Like activations are a new category of audio.
Yeah. I love the rewiring the brain. Like I went through like a huge burnout phase, like after doing YouTube for 10 years. And I just remember being like, I wish there was a class or a course I could do that helps me rewire my brain, because like creatively, I only knew how to do YouTube a certain way. And I was like, I wish I could come in as a new creative and seeing it what it is today, and like get out of my the old thought process of how a video is like a body, an intro, and then an ending, and like I was like, at the time, but there really wasn't anything for it, and I feel like this is all I would have wanted back then, of just like rewire your brain on your outlook of everything.
And it's not that hard. And the crazy thing is, the more I learn about your brain and how it actually responds to information, the more I realize that you don't actually need to consciously listen to what these activations are even saying for them to work. They work as subliminal as well, subliminal messaging in your brain. So you could even just listen to them in the background. You can put on the anytime category or the getting ready category. A lot of those have just affirmations. They literally are reprogramming you just in the background of your life. We have a category called the sleep category.
Listened to it last night.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were, okay.
Oh, no. I'm
I was like, oh my God, what happened?
I'm like, I listened to it last night.
Do you listen to the sleep? They're like 8
they're
hours
like 400
long.
and something minutes, and it's like you can like just. I was like falling asleep, and I like how it's not
She
like.
loves the sound while she sleeps.
I love a rain sound. I love all that stuff.
So they like subconsciously reprogram you while you sleep. Like it's crazy because it doesn't have to be hard, and it's just telling your brain, this is literally reprogramming your RAS when you're listening to these new affirmations and new thought processes and new belief systems, is that you start to notice different things and you start to become a different version of yourself the more you listen to it. So that's amazing that you love the sleep category. So yeah, it doesn't have to be hard to rewire your mind. Like it just takes you listening to different things and consuming different things. I don't really like to watch a lot of negative stuff anymore.
I was just going to ask, because I came across a TikTok a while ago being like, if we believe in manifestations or like everyday saying affirmations to ourselves, then if you believe that, then you also must believe that singing a song is also affecting your brain, even though you may not.
Whoa.
Yeah. I know. So if it's like, if I'm telling myself I am strong, I am beautiful, but then I'm listening to a song that's like horrible, like that clearly must also affect you. And I had a moment being like, oh, I mean, when I'm sad, oh my God, I want to listen to sad music.
Yeah.
Like I want to feel that.
That's good.
But
though,
also
to feel
if I do listen for too long, I can notice it like kind of put me in a bad mood and a rut. So it's like how do you navigate that? I don't know. Like, was there like, I don't know. Cause I'm like, I also believe that, like, I don't want to be listening to stuff that only puts me in a.
No, I know. It's not realistic.
Yeah.
I think you just have to be intuitive with it. Like, for example, like a few weeks ago, I did watch a documentary that was like a true crime thing, and I was with my cousin, but I really just kind of put up a bit of a barrier. Like, I don't like to actually absorb a lot of that information because I'm an empath and I feel things deeply. And like it's difficult when you're like us and you really feel things. Like, oh my gosh, when I watched like 4 years ago, I watched the Michael Jackson documentary. I was haunted for months. Like I actually felt different for a very long time because I really like took it in. It was no, it was terrible. So anyway, I think just being intuitive with it and understanding before going into it that it's like, okay, do I want to put up a barrier consciously, put an intention of not really wanting to process this,
or like taking it.
Yeah, or turning it off, or like actually looking at your phone when a bad part is happening. Like, but even sometimes when I'm on my phone, when I have, let's say, social media on my phone, if I'm scrolling and like a negative or like one of those 911 call things come up, like I just scroll past because like your feed is going to give you things that are like shocking, right? Yeah. I don't like any of that. I honestly would way rather those cute stories of the grandpa meeting the whatever. Like, so just I think the more you do this hope core, I'm such a hope
I love hope
I'm
core.
a hope core girly.
No, I mean, everything you're saying has to do with hope. Like,
Yes.
even seeing your future self, believing that that's available for you. I feel like hope is such a underlying thing that like is very different when you have it and when you don't. And then also realizing what we were just talking about is like every single thing we're absorbing, whether it's music, whether it's movies, whether it's like the friends that you're around. Like, I think realizing that our bodies are constantly absorbing all things, and then like figuring out what you want to come in and like that's it's the cliche shit I've heard my whole life.
No, but it's true.
different.
And I think it becomes easier the more that you become that person. I keep saying it on the show, but it's like, you know, for example, like I naturally don't want to see those negative things because it's just not who I am.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be hard. It's just like keep focusing on who you want to be, and then everything else will figure out itself.
I love
I have one last question regarding wedding planning. It sounds as though are you already planned? You said July, like is everything pretty much
planner,
done?
yes.
Love that.
Katrina Otter. We're actually getting married in the UK. In the English countryside.
Oh
It's
my
a
God, it's
fairy
beautiful.
tale. Oh my gosh. So you know how I just said that the other day I went for lunch with one of our composers who does like
Stop.
we're making a custom song for when I walk down the aisle.
Wait, I'm so sorry. That's beautiful. We have to.
When are you getting married? I can send it to you.
Please.
When are you-
oh my God.
when are you getting married?
Next spring. I'm
Okay,
still in the midst of planning though.
So it might be done.
Okay.
I can, if you want it for your aisle song.
That's so nice of you. I will pay for that, I promise.
No,
No,
you don't
I
need
was
to.
like, we
It's
need
okay.
that, but then you're like, I'm like, you need your custom
actually,
song.
no, that's your song. I won't even, but thank you
I don't
though.
care.
You're so sweet.
No.
She's not a gatekeeper at all.
Like, give us the versions you like passed on.
Yes.
We're actually going to use, because it's all about like stepping in to like this new era. So
that's so beautiful.
so this guy, Judah Earl is his name, and he's an incredible composer. I tell him he's the next Hans Zimmer.
I love Hans Zimmer. We just went and saw him.
I'm obsessed with him.
amazing.
Did you see his documentary?
No.
I watched it on the plane the other day. It was so good. I'm
gonna watch it tonight.
Like it's just all about evoking certain emotions inside of you. So it's like, oh my goodness. So I was talking, and we went for lunch, Judah and I, and he was like, okay, and he was the one who said he looks at the movie scene and then he creates like the feeling that they want to evoke. So I'm like, okay. So I was telling him about the feeling that I want to feel walking down the aisle towards Ben, and it's like, you know, very, very, very stepping into this new era of my life, marriage, wifiness, motherhood, like just transforming. I finally closed this chapter of becoming this version of me I've always wanted to be, and now I'm evolving even more. It's this like big kind of build that we're creating, and I might even fly him out to like do like one of the instruments.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
So we're having a future self wedding in the English countryside, and I'm
Future
I've been
self
excited.
wedding. Well, I was going to ask, wedding planning is very stressful. And I know a lot of people listening are either going through like the planning process themselves right now, or maybe might soon. And I just don't want to become a version of myself that I'm not proud of during the whole, planning process, because from what I've been told, I haven't really started, but it's very stressful. Did you kind of deal with any of that? And like, do you have any tips for me on how to not maybe?
So, well, first of all, I will say I'm very grateful to have a planner. I don't know if you have a planner or not.
I do, yes.
Okay, so we're lucky. You know, not everyone can afford it. It's an amazing thing to have.
Yeah.
But I will say that, you know, we can try our best, but again, approach things with just faith that, you know, the things that we can't control will happen like they are meant to happen.
Yes.
But the biggest thing for me when it comes to the wedding is how I feel on the day of. And I'm kind of organizing the day so that I feel like my best self that day. Of course, I'm going to be activating all morning, but I'm also, again, this is unique to me, I'm actually going to get ready with just one friend and my sister or something. Like, I'm not getting ready with a big group of people. I'm going to be alone a lot. I'm going to make sure I wake up early and journal a lot, like do all the things that I know connect me to myself. Activations will be in my ear all day up until I get to walking down the aisle, take
And
them
then the
off.
music is
live
gonna be
activation going in. Like, I'm setting things up for success here. So
And for you, like what you know you need.
Exactly.
You know, because again, some people I feel like you're going to want all your friends there because like you just have so many loved ones.
I haven't sat and thought about that, but I like
think
the
about
idea.
it, because you could also think, like, this is the thing. I am a social person. I love being around a lot of people, but I know deep down for me to feel my absolute best, I need to be alone before.
Clarity.
So, you know, think about it and
Social
really
battery,
just like, you could even visualize both situations. Visualize yourself getting ready with a lot of people all day.
Yeah.
Or like, what if you get ready with like one or two very specific people
that bring you a lot of calmness.
Great? Yeah. And then don't say yes to too much to please other people. This wedding is all about what we want. Of course, like people are going to have a great experience, hopefully. And we're doing things for other people, but everything from the music that we're choosing to the experience, it's all what we want.
Yeah. I feel like obviously we're speaking about weddings specifically right now, but just the idea of taking those tips and applying them to a stressful situation.
Yes, anything like that. I was sitting here being like, wow, this could go for anything.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
I will be doing, I'm going to sit, I really have done no planning, but I will move forward with all steps with those in mind.
Yes. It's going to be beautiful no matter what. And you also need to realize that, again, everything happens for a reason. With that belief, you will be happier.
Yeah.
If it rains, like right now with our wedding, we have this amazing outdoor ceremony set up under these beautiful arches of vines. And guess what? If it rains, there's nothing we can do. We're going to use the cute little church on the property. And yes, it's a totally different vibe to what I'm envisioning. But my wedding planner actually told me, she was like, one of the worst experiences I had as a planner was one of the brides would not accept a plan B option. And she was like, if it rains, the day is ruined. So it better not rain. That was her attitude.
It rained, didn't it?
It rained. And oh my goodness, it ruined the entire wedding. Her attitude about it ruined the wedding. She was yelling at the groom. Everyone had a bad time. No. And then my wedding planner said, and then she's had so many other weddings where that's happened and everyone's dancing in the rain, having the best time.
I would love to dance in the rain like that.
So can you just imagine? That's a perfect example of how you create your life.
Yeah. Also, like everyone's biggest dream is that everyone has a great time at the wedding. But like from a guest perspective, you're only going to have a good time if the bride and groom are having a good time. Like if
more specifically the bride.
The bride, yes.
Honestly, one of my good friends, Victoria Radford, she's one of my best friends.
I loved her in the vlogs. I love her energy, by the way.
Love her.
She was like, I meant to tell you, you can tell she's just like a good person.
We love her. And she's this insane makeup artist. She was actually on tour with Fergie and the Black Eyed Peas for years.
No way.
She was Fergie's she went on tour with them for years. So she's like, I've had my makeup done professionally many times. I will never get anyone touching my face with makeup again except for her. She's the only
Is she in LA?
No, she's in Toronto. But she has an amazing skincare line. Like she's just like the skin guru goddess. Like all of her products are insane. So anyway, so she's one of my best friends and one of my bridesmaids. And she's obviously doing my makeup for the day. And she's done so many weddings. And I asked her, I'm like, what makes a great wedding? Like, what is this one? If you could pick one thing that makes an amazing wedding, what is it? Is it budget? Is it like, what is it? Entertainment? She's like, no, Mimi. It is how the bride feels that day. It is the bride's energy. If the bride is in a good spot, the whole wedding is going to be amazing. Sorry, grooms. The brides are what matters.
Sorry, Cal and Ben.
I like from the handful of weddings I've been to, I can fully say that. Like, I see that.
Yeah.
It's all about that. And the day is a lot of the time about, it's about the bride. We're walking down the aisle. A lot of the men in our lives are like, whatever you want, honey, it's a wedding. But yeah, it's about our energy. And you want to look back at your wedding or any big important moment in your life with so much love for how you felt. And I'm sure a lot of people will have weddings and feel really stressed that day or just get it over with, or, they're just very anxious and they don't like the attention or, but what I'm really going to try to do with my wedding is just be so in the moment and just like soak up every little moment. Yeah. Hopefully you only get married once.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you're only ever going to be walking down the aisle once. You're only ever going to be celebrating with everyone you love in your life once, hopefully, unless you get married many times. But, I just think that it's special to just be in the moment. Yeah. We just live outside of our heads all the time. And I'm really trying in this phase of my life to just be so present. It's so important. And then I also think there's this beautiful kind of like middle ground though, because I'm all for achievement and becoming this next level version of you. I'm a big believer in humans being goal-seeking creatures. Like, I don't think we have a level of satisfaction in our lives unless there's always something that we're striving towards. Like, that's why they say after people retire, a lot of them die very soon.
I will, and sorry to jump in, but that's what I was literally talking to my therapist about. I was like, I just know, like, us humans, we're not here on this earth to just scroll on computers or phones. Like, we're meant to make things with our hands. We're meant to like have connection. Hence me buying a sewing machine because I was like, I need a new hobby.
I want to take up knitting.
No, literally, I was like, I need to make
It's
some with my
great.
hands more. But I feel like that goes to like we're just not meant for
being
scrolling.
robots.
being robots. Yeah, doom scrolling.
How do you stay present while also manifest? I'm sorry, I keep using the word manifesting, but like, just how do you do both? Like, wish for a better future, but also still stay present at the same time.
That's what I was gonna like get to just there too. It's like there is a sweet spot. A lot of people in the spiritual space will say the goal is to be 100% present at all times.
Yeah.
I actually disagree. Achievement and like working towards something makes me feel really good. Like I love that feeling of just like working towards something. It's satisfying. So for me, I believe that maybe 70% of the time, 80% of the time should be spent obviously embracing the present moment, acting as if, living as the person you want to be, embodying it. And then that like 20, 30% is like thinking, okay, what's next? How do I get there? The achievement part.
Yes. Okay.
Wow.
There's a
But
sweet
wedding
spot.
day, 100% present.
It's
Oh
very
my
exciting.
God. Well, clearly we can keep talking for hours because like you're like, I've been learning. So sorry if my back's been to you because I feel like I've just been so like, oh my God.
I'm just going to listen to this episode over and over
Yeah.
again. Also, I don't re-listen to the podcast ever because I don't want to hear myself. This one I'll be listening
I feel
to.
like I need to re-listen from like a whole different perspective.
Yeah.
I love that this is at the top of the new year. Obviously, I love a fresh start.
Yes.
Obviously, any day can be a fresh start, but I feel like there's so many people listening to this who are like taking notes, and I want to re-listen and take notes because truly like you've said so many hidden gems, and I tried to point them all out, but then it just got to the point where I couldn't keep pointing them out because I'd be interrupting too much. But no, like seriously, thank you so much. I'm so excited to see where you go in life. Like you've already, again, I feel like this has been you forever, and it's so crazy like hearing your journey, and it's so inspiring. And yeah, I like seriously can't thank you enough for coming on here. I feel like you're setting the tone for so many people's 2025s.
Our 2025.
My
This is a
2025.
beautiful way to start off the Pretty Basic Season 7.
You guys,
love it.
let's make a pact.
7.
Let's make a pact right now. 2025 is all of our years. Everyone listening, put your little hands in right now virtually. We're going to make this the best year. I feel like even just like the number 2025, it's
Such
perfect.
a good
I agree.
round.
I agree.
Yes.
Let's make it the year.
I want it to go by slow because that means I am
Taking it all in.
living
Being
life
alive.
and I'm being alive. I'm not doom scrolling. I'm not reactive.
We're sewing. We're knitting.
We're sewing.
We're gardening.
I just spit everywhere. Sewing,
We're touching
knitting.
nature. Yes.
We're literally touching, quite
We're
literally
expanding
touching
our
grass.
biofields to attract abundance and love and joy, all of the good things.
Ah, Mimi, thank you so much.
Thank you
Guys,
so
we've literally
much.
shouted this out so many times, but if I've not convinced you to sign up for the free 2-week trial, literally do it right now.
Activations.com/prettybasic. Also, again, huge discount if you guys sign up for the annual. You know what? You should, because then all 2025, we can all be expanding our biofields together. What, did I say that right?
Yes. Yes. Attracting.
Okay. Listening comprehension skills.
Making yourself a magnet to success, and just try out the 2 weeks, guys. Try it out. You can cancel if you don't like it, but you will feel a difference if you just commit, listen to it in everyday moments in the background of your life. We have over 700 activations on the app. You can only find activations on the Activations app. It's a new type of audio that helps you become your future self. And we're so excited to see how it transforms your life this year.
Oh my God. If there's one, like, let's say I just downloaded it. I know you have 700. Like, is there one you think people should start with?
Okay, I will say the walking category is one of my favorites because it's just kind of guided in a different way. But just try out all of them and see what works for your schedule. I would try the walking ones or the anytime ones. My favorite walking one is Become Your Magnetic Future Self, or Feel Alive and Optimized. I like that one a lot too. We also have like 2-minute pep talks, like Believe in Yourself, or You Can Have It All. I love that one too. It's a classic. We have a lot of like Lucky Girl energy ones. And then one of my all-time favorites is the one I was listening to on the car ride here that literally transformed me. I stepped into a freaking epic lifeline after listening to it. I'm pretty sure it's called Embody Magnetic Manifestation Energy.
Okay.
And just the music,
I'm
everything.
listening to it on the way home.
Yep.
I hope you
Listen
know.
with headphones and just like embody it, live it, and just feel the energetic shift. I'm telling you guys, like that one has magic mixed into it. So
Oh my God.
definitely
Okay.
try it out.
I'm going to listen to that.
Thank
on the way
you
home.
again so much.
Thank you both.
Everyone, happy 2025.
Oh, I forgot to say one thing.
Oh, yeah.
I literally just remembered. I wrote a book this year and it's coming out.
Spring 2025, congratulations.
I wrote a book.
Okay, hi, tell me about it.
It's with Hay House and it's coming out in April. It's called Activate Your Future Self. It's my first book. It
Oh
has
my God, I can't wait.
everything in there. Thank you so much. Literally, this book deal is also a manifestation story for another
I watched
time.
the vlogs. I know.
You did?
Well, you were also saying like, I can't talk about the publishing house yet, like all these things. So we need an update on the YouTube channel also.
Okay, fine. I'll give an update. But it was a crazy
Remi,
manifestation.
this is for you.
Can I just share the story really quickly because it was insane?
Please.
Okay, so basically, my book agent and I have been friends for years, and she was always like, "Okay, write a book, let's go." And I was like, "I don't know if it's the right time." And then a year ago, it was like, "Okay, it's the right time." And I told her, I was like, "Okay, I'm manifesting something very specific, a multi 6-figure book deal with Penguin." That's what I said to her. I was like, "This is what I want." She was like, "Okay, hun, but it's your first book. You don't even have millions of followers. Like, let's be a little more realistic. Like, you might get a little less than 6 figures, blah, 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 blah." And I'm like, "It's okay. You'll see. We're going to do that." And anyway, so time passes. We end up doing lots of meetings. Penguin didn't want it. But Hay House was one of the publishers that really wanted it. And I loved their team. And I was like, you know what? Let's go Hay House. And yes, it was a six-figure book deal.
Yes,
I don't know how much I can share, but it was an amazing book deal. And my agent was like, "What the hell, Mimi? Like, that is insane for someone like you."
Unheard of.
And then a week later, my book agent calls me and she's like, "You're really good at this." And I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" She's like, "Penguin just acquired Hay House."
Stop! I was just gonna say, holy shit. Okay, so oh my God.
Obviously, I was the person that helped
did
that
it.
acquisition go through.
Absolutely.
Wait. But
That is really crazy.
I really appreciate you being open about the quote fails because like so many people would be like, "Yeah, I manifested my book deal and I got it," but they wouldn't mention that it was a different house or like a publishing house. And I feel like that alone is like, again, the redirection, the bounce back. I feel like that's the part that everything else and every other approach is missing because I'm so sorry. And then they acquired it. Like, that's not a coincidence in any way.
It's kind of crazy.
And it's
That
cool that
is
you were willing to be like,
crazy.
cool, that's not exactly what I pictured, but I'm going to go with it. Like,
And I was happy with it. I was so happy. And again, like, that is a great story. Like, there are things that happen that isn't exactly what I want, but that was just like a really funny story
no, it's crazy.
my agent was like, "Wow, you're like a magician." And I was like, "Girl, read the book, learn how to do it."
Yeah.
But it's coming out in April.
Oh my God, I can't wait to read it.
You guys can pre-order it. Everyone listening, if you want to go on Amazon, just type in Activate Your Future Self.
I'm doing it now.
Mimi Bouchard. And it's insane. It is going to change a lot of lives as well. It's really just the deep science behind all of it.
I love
and
that.
really just my life's work all in one book. So yeah.
I can, you've already changed my life. And I'm like, I've just been sitting
I
here
love you.
absorbing
You're
all
so
this.
sweet.
No, like truly, thank you so much. I'm so excited. I can't wait to read your book. I'm going to listen to that.
I'll send you guys the books, obviously.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. I'll buy all the
course.
support.
I'll have my highlighter. Just going through the
Oh, no,
whole thing.
literally. Oh my God. I want to like check in with you in a year and then I
Yes.
can tell you how my 2025 has been.
Please.
Because
please
as
do.
of now, I'm already picturing it's ending amazing.
Yes. You already know. You already know. And it's a fun game. You know, we're humans living on this crazy planet, you know, spinning a cajillion times over. Like it's a weird thing being alive.
Yeah.
And then we have all lived this life where we just think the universe works in this very specific way. But what if we expanded our minds and thought, I'm going to try it different this year. I'm going to actually do this really interesting thing and work on my energy, my self-image, my future self frequency, and expanding my energy and rewiring my mind and really just stepping into this new identity and just try that out for a few months. I'm telling you, I honestly would put money on it. Anyone listening, if you do a 14-day free trial and you listen to it every single day, you will feel significantly different. I can promise you that.
Wow.
I'm really
Wow, wow,
excited
wow.
for our listeners. I just got excited for them while you were speaking.
Obviously, everyone go follow, subscribe.
Again, check out activations.com/prettybasic. We promise you guys are going to love it. Thank you, Mimi, for coming on.
Thank you.
And we will catch you guys with new episodes of season 7 of Pretty Basic every Wednesday on YouTube and wherever you listen to your podcasts. We love you guys. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.